I thought we had some big time rebounds, big time stops down the stretch.
It seemed like in the third quarter there might have been a little bit of settling going on.
No, I don't think it was settling. I think it goes back to, playing with the right intentions and getting organized. And I think sometimes when we misorganize our spacing, it puts us in tough spots, and then we're forced to settle because it's 5-on-5 and we can't recognize where the matchup is. And so we are an elite basketball team when we get to our spacing properly and quickly, and then we're able to quickly see what we want to do. When we don't get to our spacing and we run without a purpose and we don't get the corners filled and we don't get guys in the right spot, then we're looking for where the advantage is, and by that time it's too late, and then we have to make a play for ourselves. And so settling can come off as a selfish desire. We don't have a selfish team. We have a team where we have to fight for elite spacing and fight for the right intentions. And you saw a distinct difference when we got to our spacing and played with the right intentions. We made plays for each other. And so it's only settling because we're not working hard enough to get the advantage.
In that timeout with about 3-ish left in the fourth quarter, Jaylen looked completely locked into his own world. He comes out there and didn't hit another shot, turned it over 3 times. What did you see out of Jaylen's defense tonight, and how big has that been for him and his identity this
Not
year?
being defined by scoring. It goes back to greatness looks different in different days, and I thought his defense and those 2 in-traffic rebounds that he got and the free throws that he made were the reason. And so I think you can still have a tremendous game, even if you're not scoring, or if the ball's not going in. And that's not just him; that's everybody. It's all of us being defined by winning plays, great plays. And I thought tonight his defense was elite. His in-traffic rebounds were elite, and I thought he did a great job at the free throw line.
Free throw line, you don't coach the free throw line apparently,
After Corrales' question, we talked about it in the locker room.
Joe, they held you to 39%.
We were in a tie?
Yes.
Oh.
Got a different.
I was say.
Yeah.
Seen some of your outfits. I didn't expect a suit and tie.
We'll see what I wear tomorrow.
Yeah,
But they held you to 39% in the first game. You guys were down around there midway through this game. What is it about their defense or just the way they play that kind of held you out of the paint area or just limited your efficiency?
They held us to 39% in the first game because our coaching staff, myself included, didn't coach offense well enough and put them in the proper positions to get the 2-on-1s. They were also missing Gobert, where they do a great job of spacing him, and he has rim protection. And we went into that game trying to space him instead of trying to attack him. And obviously with them tonight, we were able to get to different spacings. And so tonight, kind of to what we were talking about before, it wasn't their defense is elite, and they're physical, and they do a great job. But tonight, when we were losing, it was more about we weren't getting to our spacing, we weren't fighting for advantages, and we were forced to have to make one-on-one plays because we couldn't recognize where the 2-on-1 is quick enough. And some of their ball pressure does that. Some of their length and their physicality does that.
It looked like Jayson got going when he got downhill there in the fourth. Was there something specifically you guys did to free him up, or was it just his aggressiveness in those?
He was extremely aggressive. I thought he did a great job. I thought Al did a great job coming to set. If they're going to pick you up high, we have to use that to our advantage. And I thought Al did a good job coming to get him at half court, coming to get him high, and JT got downhill and made the right play. And so that is spacing, right? And that's proper basketball. We got guys in the corners. We got elite spacing. We got the right matchup in. They're going to have a high pickup point. We set it higher, and then we made the right play. And so once we got organized and were able to do that, I thought our offense looked completely different. And, all of our guys did a great job, and JT did a great job making plays.
Joe, you guys improved to 18-0 at home tonight. That's a franchise record to open a year at home. Obviously, a lot of good teams in this history. What does that mark kind of mean to you and this team at this point?
So there's been 2 times that I've actually showed like I have a pulse, and tonight wasn't one of them, and it's because of the crowd. And I'm not going to say we're 18-0 at home without that. And so, to me, I talked about this before a little bit, we want to create this identity of playing Celtic basketball because the fans are really smart, and they know when we suck and they know when we don't, and they've seen great basketball for a long period of time. So usually if they're cheering, it's because you're doing something right. And I think over the course of this season, they've seen moments of greatness. They've seen moments of Celtic basketball, and they've responded to that really well. And I think that's had a huge impact on our team. And to me, especially being from here, there's nothing better than getting the Garden, the crowd, to appreciate Celtic basketball. And so I think the connectivity between us and the identity of the city and the identity of the arena is kind of building something for us. And tonight specifically, even when we did suck, which we did at times, they did a good job of keeping us in it. And I think that's important to have that relationship with the crowd and with the city.
Hey, Joe, just another thing on JT. You mentioned his aggressiveness down the stretch, but how about kind of his shot selection and and taking what needed to be taken within the moment. What was the left hand down the lane, 3-point shot, and what does that say about kind of how he's grown?
Well, two things. One, I also want to highlight the fact when guys play really well on offense, they actually played really well on defense today too. And I thought his ability to match up with Karl Anthony Towns, especially in the first half, allowed us to have some other matchups. And so, again, not being defined by greatness, Jalen's defense, Jason's defense, Drew's. Tonight you saw like Drew being Drew, right? But to get back to Jayson, the most important thing is like the ball in your hands, in the spacing, making the right play, and playing with pace, playing with poise. Don't always have to go the same speed. And tonight you saw moments of screening in the first half, moments of ball handling in the second half, figuring out what the pick and roll coverage was, and then making the right play to that. And so I think he had a couple kickouts, a couple pin-ins for Al where he got the corner three. So again, it's just not being defined by one thing, and it's dominating the game by understanding how what pitch do I need to use this quarter, this half, this game. And our guys are starting to recognize that, and I thought JT did a great job of that tonight.
Joe, back on Tatum again. For the first 3 quarters, he was okay. But he wasn't the best MF on the floor.
I love that word.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, full.
Why not?
But
Well, you won't get fined, but I will.
yeah, Brown was at times in Edwards, but Tatum turned into the best MF on the floor in the fourth quarter and overtime. Is that a conversation you have with him? Do you look at? Is there something that you say, Jayson, like, be yourself, be Jayson, like where because he just took over. He was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was something different.
No, I mean he's Jayson Tatum, I'm me, so no, like that's not it. But it's conversations throughout the game. What's going well? What's not? Where can we improve? Why are we in the way we're in? I think what makes him great is he knows when it's his time, and when he does have to take over a game. So I didn't necessarily tell him have to do that, but we're constantly in communication about the perspective. What pitch should we throw? Should we screen? Should we run off ball? Should you pick and roll ball handle? What's the matchup that's going to give us the best advantage for you to make a play for yourself or your team? So we're constantly having those conversations. But what the mode you saw him go in tonight, that's him. And I think that's part of where we have to grow as a staff, and where he needs to grow is like we want to see that all the time. Like we shouldn't have to wait until a tie game to see it. And I think you've seen moments of that from him this year where it's like he has another level he can get to, and it's like how much can we get him there? And tonight you were able to see that.
Do great players like him have to take watching Edwards do his thing personal?
I would like to think it's not necessarily personal, but I do think you see guys having great. You get the best out of each other, and so I don't know if it's like, oh, he's doing this, so now I'm going to do this. I think it's like you just you see the magic birds or the relationships of when two guys get on the floor. It's the expectation of that guy should do everything to bring the best out of me, and I should do everything to bring the best out of him. And so I think you see that a little bit.